Hello, my name's Liz Rowlinson at Place in the Sun. I'm here to meet Leah Charles-King. Hello, Leah.
Hi, Liz. How are you?
Not bad. Welcome to Place in the Sun team.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. That's an understatement, at least.
I think you're filming at the moment, aren't you? You can't give too much away, but tell us, you've kind of got straight into it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been filming secretly since July. So
Wow.
I've done quite a few shows in Spain. And this week, though, I'm in Cyprus. I've been here for a couple of weeks and I'm filming an episode as we speak in Cyprus. So I've just wrapped for the day. I've quickly found a moment before the sun sets. I'm a couple of hours ahead of you guys to speak with you. So I'm happy about it.
Brilliant. Had you been to Cyprus before?
Not before filming here. So this has been a new place for me. I've been going to Spain lots as a child. So I know Spain, fairly well, but Cyprus is a new place for me. So I'm very happy to be here. It's gorgeous. I really like Cyprus.
Yeah, me too. So a bit of background. Where is home? Where did you grow up? Where did you travel and spend time?
Well, I'm a born and bred Londoner, and but growing up, my parents, they've always liked to travel. We used to go to Spain a lot as a child. I used to go to Spain, but then also the Caribbean in St. Lucia and Grenada in particularly, because that is where my parents are from.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have homes there. We've got a lot of land there as well, especially in Grenada. And so, yeah, I used to spend a lot of time with my grandmother there and go and visit her at least sort of 4 or 5 times a year. So always popping over to see her. And yeah, she passed away sadly last year. And I miss her lots. And I miss St. Lucia a lot as well, because I haven't been back since. But that's another story.
Yes.
Yeah, but in the meantime, A Place in the Sun has come in and it's filled that void for me. And now I'm creating new memories in new places. So it's a positive.
Well, you're very well travelled, clearly. So you're going to carry on in that vein. So tell me, you got am I right in thinking you were started getting into acting as a child?
Yeah, well, I started off as a child actress, just doing little bits. I was in my first claim to fame, as I put it, I was in Billy Ocean's Get Out of My Dreams and Get Into My Car music video.
Oh, wow.
So back in the 80s. So yeah, I was that was my first gig. And then I sort of did like child acting. I was in things with like Bluella Benjamin. And I remember being in something with Barbara Windsor as well called Bluebirds on BBC. It was like a kids show like years ago, just like background and stuff like that, little odd lines. And then when I was a teenager, I mean, we're going back to the 90s, believe it or not, I was in a girl band and we were signed to Sony Music. Yeah, I was in a girl band with my cousins and we had some songs in the charts. We did some great stuff. And we toured with Lionel Richie as well, all across the arenas and things like that. And then when the band ended, late 90s, early noughties, I then did backing vocals for the likes of George Michael and Andrea Bocelli and Lighthouse Family and people like that. And then but I'd always wanted to get into presenting. I got into presenting in 2000. And next year, 2022, I'll be celebrating 22 years of presenting, basically. So I've been doing that. But in the meantime, obviously, in TV, it's very up and down. It can be very volatile. And so in between, I would help my uncles who they've been flipping and renovating, buying properties in the UK and across the Caribbean for years. So I would sort of help them, as I call it, moonlighting, a bit like that. So that's how I got into property and got learning sort of behind the scenes about that. So this is kind of like the perfect bridge to, a bit of property and presenting. It's like perfect gig for me, to be honest.
Excellent. And who of all those, there's some big names you just threw at us there. Who are the favourite people you've met in your different sort of types of career?
Different guises. Yeah. I mean, so many. I've met so many people over the years. Lionel Richie was always a favourite because he really welcomed the whole family. I come from a huge family, and being in a girl band, we were all first cousins. So it was like extended family, all the family. I remember we were performing at Wembley Arena, and he invited everyone backstage, and he was just so lovely to everybody as well. You know, but over the years, gosh, I've met so many people. But for me, I'm just as happy to meet the Queen as I am to meet the next door neighbor. You know, like everybody is the same to me. We're all the same. And yeah, I'm probably a bit boring with that. I'm not like one of those people that are like, oh, I love meeting blah, blah, blah. It's the people that I haven't met. Like, I would love to meet Gwen Stefani. She, growing up for me, she was like my icon. I love No Doubt. I love that band. So it's people like that. And I get really sort of starstruck over the most obscure type of people, like random people. I probably get excited of somebody from an advert or something like that, you know. So yeah, but it's nice to mix it up and meet loads of different people.
Well, you're clearly in a very good position to meet all sorts of random property hunters, I think, in the show. And how's it? Give us a little hint. I mean, how's it been so far in terms of, you know, I'm sure you've watched the program for years, as you said, being the other side of the camera. How was it?
Yeah, I mean, A Place in the Sun, my parents have been watching that show for 21 years. It's their favorite show. They record every single one and they watch it every single night. And I mean, I haven't lived with my parents for well over 20 years, but when I go to visit, that show is on, believe you me. And I think they are, I don't even know how it's possible, but they're probably a bit more excited about this than I am. They're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. But you know, I've done, like I just mentioned, all sorts of amazing opportunities. And you know, they're very nonchalant about everything, but Place in the Sun, and that's it. I've made it now to them. So, but I mean, being in front of the camera and being on the team is unbelievable. It really is a dream. It was something that I'd never really thought about before, which is a bit weird, but I'm glad I hadn't. I'm glad because it's all very organic, the way it's all come about, the way the opportunity came. I auditioned like everybody else, and I was deemed as the person that they wanted to give the job to. So that for me is very heartwarming. And I'd just gone through many years of a mental health battle. I was diagnosed with bipolar about almost 9 years ago, and I hid it for many years because of stigma, shame, embarrassment, all of those things. And I just thought, gosh, nobody would want to work with me again. They'll think I'm a liability. They'll think that I won't get up for work in the morning, or, you know, all those things that run in your mind. And so getting this opportunity has just been, I can't even begin to explain to you how it genuinely has changed my, not because, oh, it's a gig and I'm a presenter. No, this is much deeper than that. It stands for so much for me. It stands for me and for others about not giving up, about being tenacious, about having faith, and just to keep going. And that for me has been amazing. And like you just mentioned as well about meeting all the house hunters, those are the kind of people that I get excited about. Celebrities are great, but maybe I'm desensitized because I've been around it all my life. You know, I've been high, I've been low. But for me, meeting people, real people who want to find their homes, want a better way of life, a better way of living, I know what that feels like. And I used to run to St. Lucia, particularly, and spend time with my grandmother in my downtimes, particularly when I was ill, when I was unwell. And that was my place to escape. And that was the place where she would feed me with food and with love. And I would come back to England and feel better in myself. And so I know what it feels like for people when they say they want a piece of that. They want a home in the sun. They want a better way of life. And the fact that I'm able to hold their hand and guide them and show them 5 amazing properties, and hopefully they like one in the end and they get the house. That is just, oh, honestly, if I could just give you the feeling of what it feels like to me, it's unbelievable. And I've got a good track record so far.
I know, without giving too much away, I think you've got quite a good success.
I'm not giving too much away, but so far on the show, track record, you know, they're enjoying it.
Yeah. I mean, if it's not too personal, I mean, How do you manage with the bipolar, with the with filming different, because TV is very sort of it's very full on 1 minute and then down, and then I mean how if you're, like you said, if you're going through if you're feeling very challenged, how do you deal with that?
The thing is, what I find is that when I'm presenting, when I'm working, that's the best medicine for me, always has been. My biggest triggers when I haven't been working and when I've been overlooked, or, when I haven't been given work for certain reasons, could be some of the time, could be because of the color of my skin, because of my gender. There's been loads of different reasons over my career, and I've made no bones about that. You could see that for yourself on social media. I've spoken about it openly in recent times. But when the camera's on and when I'm working, that is like the best medicine that I can ever have, because I'm just in my element. It's what I do. It's what I love. I don't see a camera. I don't see it as a production. This to me is real life. These are real people. And I come from a live TV background as well. So it means anything can happen at any time and I'm always ready. So that is a part of it that I really do enjoy.
Okay. And
sorry, but you were asking how do I sort of cope with it? Well, I just do in that way. I'll be honest, with the ways that I have struggled, particularly in the beginning, is the different routines, the different times, the early starts, the late finishes. For me, getting a good amount of sleep is very important, because that's a trigger for me if I don't. And obviously with traveling in a pandemic, the anxiety rises. So there's all these other things, real life things going on behind the scenes. But then the minute we start work, it's all worth it. And, I'm happy, I'm in my element. But I'll be honest with you. Yes, the traveling, the starts, sometimes it's eating late or, not eating at all and things like that. These are things that I have to keep an eye on just to make sure that I keep my mental health in check.
Yeah, that's good general advice, isn't it? Well, what do you do to wind down? What are your non-work things?
I love time with my family, and I love music. Music is such a good medicine as well. I've got a song for every mood, whether it be angst, whether it be happiness, sadness, I've got a song for it. And I feel like that kind of, when I come back from filming, the first thing I'll do is put my headphones in, put on a bit of music and just chill for a bit, So I reckon that's my key thing, definitely music. And that probably comes from a musical background as well. And I love all sorts of music too. So yeah, it's fun.
And are we going to see you having a sort of a busman's holiday in the Caribbean? Are you going to be doing episodes in the places you know really well?
Well, they are going, and I say they are, the production are going to the Caribbean in the next couple of months. Unfortunately, I won't be, though.
All right.
I'm going to be in France.
Because that's where the property hunters want to go, I suppose. I haven't had quite so much Caribbean lately, but I'm sure we are going to get some. So
yeah, we are. So we are filming there in November and December. We are filming there. It's just I'm not going, unfortunately. But that's all good, because to be honest, I haven't filmed in France before, so that's a new experience. Maybe next time I'll be out there I think they're going possibly Barbados and St. Lucia, so that will be fun. And also the presenters who are going, I don't think they have been there yet. So I won't reveal who's going. So it's nice for them to go, So it's all good. As long as the shows get done and people find properties that they love and they want to go and live there and have a great time. And that's what this show is all about, isn't it?
And tell me, which bits of St. Lucia are you, do your family have properties?
So we have in St. Lucia, we are in Canaries, which is a small little fishing village down the south by Soufriere. Where the Piton Mountains are. Yeah, and of course the volcano, Sulphur Springs, etc. And of course we have properties up north as well towards Rodney Bay. And then in Grenada, we're in St. George's, mainly St. Andrews, Tivoli. We've got lots of property and lots of land there. So yeah, those are nice places to go. If you've never been, definitely head to the Caribbean at some point.
Brilliant. And where would you just to get it out there for property hunters, where would you love to visit that you haven't yet visited? And we'll see if we can find some property hunters.
Oh, that is a really good question, actually. Oh my goodness. So I mean, I'm a bit biased. I will say anywhere in the Caribbean. I've been to a lot of places in the Caribbean. I've been to pretty much all the islands, I would say there. Where else I would like to go somewhere like, I don't know, Cuba, Brazil.
Oh, mm-hmm.
Yeah, somewhere like that, somewhere that is just on the other side that I haven't actually explored yet. You know, somewhere completely different. I also heard rumors that we could be going to Costa Rica. So that would be amazing.
Enough, there's been a few episodes in Costa Rica over the years. I think Brazil's in a little bit of a kind of a mess at the moment. So I'm not sure we're going to go. But yeah, wow. Okay. Costa Rica.
Yeah, Costa Rica will be cool. Brazil, I'm just thinking more for a holiday.
Yes.
But no, Costa Rica would be amazing. Yeah. South America, I just think in general would be nice to explore there and explore property there.
And I guess with Brexit, you've got to be a bit careful with how many days in Europe. So
yeah,
it's a little bit complicated.
It is, unfortunately. You know, it has hasn't scuppered things, but of course it just adds another element to it all, really. Before we were able to just travel freely and work freely, and now it's a case of, oh, that person can't go there on this day because they've already used up days. And even just us as presenters filming, it's you know, we're having to keep a tally of who's where and what's what. But of course the production deal with all of that, and then I just get told where I'm going, so at least I don't need to worry about that on top of everything else.
But tell me, if you but you might want to go on holiday as well, so presumably, as long as it sounds like your heart is in the Caribbean, so that won't be an issue if you're going off there. But you're going to have to sort of include your work and your kind of personal trips in that 90 days, aren't you?
I know. I do travel to Europe a lot. We have a lot of family holidays across Europe, but it's one of those things where I guess when it comes up, I'll just cross that bridge when it comes to it. You know, for somebody like myself who suffers anxiety, I try to put myself in a headspace where I try not to worry about things that I can't control, because I know what it's like to worry about things that I can't control. So for now, I'm like, well, this is how it is. Nothing's cropped up yet that is scuppering anything. So we'll just see how it goes.
Sure. And what about, can you give us a few sort of tips of things you've got so much experience of finding places for, I guess for mainly investment as well.
Yeah.
Can you give us any little insider tips about looking for a property? Abroad, not so much. I know a lot of your experience has been in London, hasn't it? And
it's really just behind the scenes, helping the family, helping my uncles, you know. So it's really, at the moment, as we know, property just everywhere, and particularly if you're coming from the UK, it's not easy right now. It's not easy traveling right now, and because of the Brexit situation. Of course, in the Caribbean, though, the world is your oyster, I guess, if that's the part of the world that you wanted to go, because for your money, you could get a small little place or you could get a big mansion for your buck. It really depends on what you've got, and that's the beauty of it there. But you know what I do like, even about being and filming in Spain and Cyprus, as I've been doing over the last few months, there really is something for everyone, depending if you've got a decent budget. You know, I've shown some people some amazing properties and amazing apartments, even for around £100,000. I think one couple even has £80,000, and I found them an amazing property in Spain. So there are properties out there, but what the beauty of A Place in the Sun is that because we work with so many different people, so many different agents and things like that, we're able to find some nice little places that other people who are looking online can't find.
Oh yeah.
And even the house hunters I'm working with this week are going, I've been looking for years and I haven't even been able to find these types of properties that you're showing us. So they're happy. So I do recommend, probably my biggest bit of advice is that if you are looking and you're struggling, definitely get in touch with The Place in the Sun, because
good advice.
we can find you little gems that I don't think you'd be able to find yourself. So
I think you're bang on there.
definitely consider that.
And I was mentioning that with Jasmine actually at our exhibition last week. And have you met any of the other presenters yet?
Yes.
Because
So I met Jasmine and Laura. So that was nice. I didn't tell them that I was even auditioning for this, because I just wanted to do it for me. And when they found out, they were obviously over the moon. Jean, I knew from Disney Day. She was a kids presenter on Disney 20 years ago, and so was I. So that's how I met Jean. I met Scarlett about 5 years ago or so at an event when she just pretty much had only just started this show. So that's nice to obviously have them. I haven't met Lee in person yet, but you know, he sent a message. I haven't met Danny. I've met Ben, and I've spoken with Johnny as well on WhatsApp. So you know, everyone's been very welcoming, and it's been really good. It's been really good.
Well, look, I can't wait to see some episodes with you with the new series starting. So thank you very, very much, Leah, for sharing that and hearing all about your background.
Thank you. The new series starts next month, and can't wait. You will see a couple of my episodes in the new series, and I can't wait to see what you and the audience think of it, because I tell you what, The Place in the Sun viewers, they are hardcore. They love the show. They know the show. And I do hope, you know, my shows, they tend to have a bit of drama in them and really good highs and lows, but in a good way. And so I do hope you enjoy them.
Brilliant. Thanks again, Leah.
Thank you so much, Liz.